All right, is it better to spend your money on this? A somewhat eclectic collection of affordable watches, or on a single luxury timepiece? Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. My name is Dave and this is Just the Watch, where I am trying to build the ultimate watch collection, one affordable watch at a time, which actually happens to be the topic of today's show. Today I want to talk about why you should build an affordable watch collection, or if you should build an affordable watch collection, because this is actually a surprisingly controversial topic. There's a lot of watch enthusiasts, watch collectors, watch snobs, however you want to call it, a lot of watch people that would suggest that investing in affordable watches is really a waste of money, and you really should just save up your money and buy a Rolex or an Omega or something from one of these, more established luxury brands, because the quality and everything is so great on luxury watches that once you own one, you never really want to go back to these lower priced watches. And that's obviously not the direction I'm taking, because again, this is a whole channel about building an affordable watch collection. So today I want to talk about 5 reasons why I think it is worth your time to invest in an affordable watch collection, to build a watch collection of affordable watches, and why I'm doing that. Again, this is a controversial topic, so this is probably going to be not for everybody. There are going to be people that, maybe this is not the best way to go about it, and they do feel like they should just go straight into the luxury segment of the market. But for anybody who's considering that, maybe this will be helpful. So let's go ahead and talk about 5 reasons why I think you should build an affordable watch collection. Reason number 1, the low cost of entry. Or put a little bit more simply, nobody wants to spend $5,000 on their first watch, or nobody that I know anyways. For me, when I first started seriously considering a watch to buy, I wound up doing a lot of research, and I set my sights on a Citizen Nighthawk. And that watch cost about $200, which was a financial stretch for me. That was kind of a lot of money for me to invest in the watch. It was the most I had ever spent on a watch before. And yet it wasn't a horribly unreasonable amount. It was the kind of thing that I could wear and have fun with, and I really enjoy the watch. I still have it today, and it really is an amazing watch. It's helped me appreciate the craftsmanship that goes into creating a watch. It's helped me appreciate quartz watches more than I might have considered if I had only been watching online reviews and reading stuff on the internet. I've learned a lot from getting my hands on that watch. And owning that watch has really sort of helped me understand better what I like, and it's sort of gotten me sucked more into the hobby. I've gotten my first step into the door with that, and I think it's a great watch to start with. And it's just a great, easy way to kind of get into the hobby. But even that, at $200 is still a lot of money for a lot of people. But there's a lot of watches that I think that are even much cheaper, that if you're looking for just, to kind of get your foot into the door, something like a Timex Weekender is another watch that I really enjoy. And I was really blown away and surprised by how much I liked the style and some of the features of it. And it's just a really great watch, and I picked that one up for I think like $40. So having these kind of really low cost of entry watches to sort of get your feet wet and start understanding watches and watch collecting and starting to understand what you like, I think is just a great thing, and I think that's a great reason why starting with an affordable watch collection is a good way to go. Reason number 2, if you can't afford to buy a luxury watch right now, you probably can't afford to own a luxury watch. Let me explain what I mean by that. Two things come to mind. First off, the cost of ownership for a luxury watch can be fairly significant. If you start thinking about the cost of sending it back to the manufacturer for its servicing intervals, which is recommended, that can run you hundreds of dollars, and it's actually significantly more to have a luxury watch serviced than an affordable watch. And if you've already invested that much money into it, if you run into a problem with the watch or something needs to be fixed or repaired, there's a good chance you won't have the money to pay for those servicing costs and repairs when the time comes. You might wind up being stuck with a watch that you paid a huge chunk of your money for and really had to sort of dig down in order to buy, and then not really being able to use it. A second concern is that, for me, if I spent $2,000 on a watch, $2,000 is a huge amount of money for me. It's a huge portion of my income. And so if I had all of that sunk into a single watch, I don't think I would ever have the courage to actually wear it, because I would be so afraid of breaking it, or scratching it or devaluing it, because to me, to have that much money invested into that one watch is just too big of a concern. I might have a case where I might need that money for something else and need to sell the watch. And if I had damaged it or devalued it by wearing it, I might be concerned that I wouldn't be able to get a good return on that if the time came. And so concerns like that, I think for people that are not in a high income bracket, is a very real concern. I mean, when I think about my watches and the watches that I own, I think the most that I've ever spent on a watch out of my own personal money was maybe about $300, and that was for a Bulova Lunar Pilot, which is one of my favorite watches. I really love it. But there is, even at that $300 price point, there's a little bit of that concern. A lot of times I'll choose other watches over that one just because I've got kids or I might be doing something a little bit more active that day. I'm just a little nervous about getting that one scratched because to me it's like, oh, that was a good chunk of my money that I invest in this and I want to keep it in good shape. Having that, it's sort of, it's not the best way to go, I don't think. I think it's better if you have watches that you're comfortable wearing, that you can enjoy wearing, and that you don't have that fear. And again, if you're not someone who's pretty well off, having all of that money sunk into something like a luxury watch can really, I think, give you sort of lessen the experience of getting the most enjoyment out of that luxury piece. Reason number 3 is that it's a great way to get to know your own preferences. I think affordable watches is a great way to start to learn what exactly you like. And I think that's important because I think when I think back to when I first started collecting watches, my sort of, what I thought was the coolest watch, if I ever won the lottery or something and I would be able to afford a luxury piece, would be like a Rolex Explorer 2. I loved the GMT feature. I loved that polar dial, the sportiness of it. I just thought it was a really cool watch, and it had Rolex on it, which everybody loves Rolex and it's the best and whatever. And I still think it's a cool watch, but as I have gotten into collecting, my tastes have shifted a little bit, and now I'm less certain about even which luxury watch I don't even know what my grail piece is anymore, because I've started to experience different watches and have a better understanding of the kind of watches that I want, and I probably wouldn't want to spend all that money on a Rolex Explorer 2 right now, even if I had the option to. My tastes have kind of drawn towards slightly more dressier but rugged pieces. Maybe something more like a Rolex Explorer 1 now might be a little bit more appealing to me than the Rolex Explorer 2, but then I still want a GMT feature, so now it's like I know more, and knowing more about watches means I know less about even what kind of a luxury piece I want at this point. And so, I think that's really helpful, because if I would have just jumped straight into and somehow afforded and spent all that money on a Rolex Explorer 2, I might have found out, well, that's not actually the kind of watch that I want, and there's, I'm not really going to wear it as much, and my actual tastes for watches are different. So I think it's really important to go through that process of learning what you like and what fits your personality, and not just going off of what other people say is the best watch to do. And I think having an affordable collection of watches and trying a variety of different watches is the best way to do that. Number 4, a watch collection gives you more variety and flexibility than a single luxury watch ever could. I love variety. I live here in Japan, and one of the coolest things that I like about Japan is that all of the products do promotional items. There's always a different soft drink that you can buy, something new, something seasonal. If you go to McDonald's, every single month McDonald's has a different hamburger here, and it's something new. And so I don't know if I've ever had the same hamburger twice at McDonald's here in Japan, because whenever I go, I just order whatever the special is for that month. And I love just having that variety and trying something different and something new. And the same thing goes with my preferences for watches. I really love having that option to mix and match, to say, to try and look at what I'm wearing that day and try and find a watch that fits with it, or just something that I feel like going for. I like having different complications to choose from and thinking, well, I might need to time something today, so I want to put on a chronograph, or today I might be doing something where I'll get wet, so I want to put on a dive watch, or all of these different things. Or definitely there's times when I need to dress up and I want a watch that will look good wearing a suit or something like that. And so having that watch collection where I have those choices and that flexibility and that variety, to me is just really cool. It's something that I really appreciate and like about watch collecting. But if I had taken all of my money and put it into a single luxury piece where I was having to wear that watch no matter what, again, I think there would be a lot of, to me, that just wouldn't be as enjoyable. There would be, occasions where I might get bored of it, or I just might think, well, this is not the appropriate situation to be wearing this watch, and I wish I had some other alternatives. But I only have that one watch. So I think there's something definitely to be said for having a collection of watches. And if you only have the budget for either buying a luxury watch or a collection of affordable watches, I would prefer the collection of affordable watches. Reason number 5, watch collecting is fun. To me, one of the most enjoyable things about watch collecting is just that process of building a collection that really reflects my needs and my personality. Finding the pieces that I like, that have some significance to me, and having a variety there. And again, I can't afford to create a luxury watch collection. So if I'm going to have a collection of watches, for me, it really does have to be one or the other. And even if I did liquidate my whole collection and start saving up money, it would, even now my whole collection is probably not worth enough to buy what many people would consider a decent luxury watch. And I don't really think that I ever even have that desire to go in that direction. I'm really happy with the watches that I have now. And, at the same time, there are other watches that, that I'm hoping to get in the future. And I like this idea of selling pieces and buying different ones and just that kind of shuffling things around. And it's a fun part of the hobby, but it's something that I can't afford to do that with luxury pieces. And so I would rather have the fun of collecting watches and building that collection of discovering which watches I enjoy and what fits my tastes and preferences, and doing all that right now rather than just setting it all aside and just sitting here and saying, okay, so I'm going to do some research and really save up and discipline myself and eventually get this one watch that I'm going to just be the perfect watch for me. I don't think that that's out there. And, again, honestly, for me, spending $5,000 on a watch, to me, seems like a waste of money on my perspective. And obviously, there's a lot of people that disagree with me and have totally opposite perspectives, and that's okay. But I think at the same time that there are valid reasons for having an affordable watch collection. And to me personally, that's just the fun way to go about it. It might be that someday I decide, you know what, I'm done with affordable watches. I'm going to sell them all and try and save up and buy a luxury watch. And I know a lot of people eventually go that direction. But for me, I haven't come close to considering that yet. And I'm having a lot of fun building this affordable ultimate watch collection. And I've still got a ways to go on it, but just going through the process and narrowing it down and seeing as I add each piece and how it kind of gets a little bit closer to where I want it to be. It's just a really fun hobby and a fun thing to be doing. And again, I can only afford to do that with more affordable pieces. I can't afford to do that with building a collection around Rolexes and Omegas and Breitlings and whatever. And all that's not really where I'm coming from. For me, this is just kind of a fun hobby that I enjoy doing. And yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. And I think that building an affordable watch collection for most people is really the only way that they can get into that aspect of the hobby. So that's the 5th and final reason why I would encourage you to consider building an affordable watch collection. Let me know what you guys think. I'd love to hear your comments, where you guys are at, if you've been through this process. I've been watch collecting for about 2 years now. So, I think a lot of people are going to look at this and be like, oh, he's going to change his mind in, 3 or 4 years and, he'll, sell everything and buy a Rolex. I don't know. I don't plan on it, but, maybe we'll look back in 2 or 3 years at this video and laugh. But for now, I'm enjoying what I'm doing. I have no regrets about having, spending my money and my time focusing on affordable watches, and hopefully you guys are enjoying watching me kind of go through the process of doing all that too. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the show again. And again, drop me a comment, let me know what you think, and we will talk to you later. Bye.